Hello everybody, welcome back to the Steelchair. How the hell are we? Hope we're all doing well. I hope you guys are doing well. And we've got some pay-per-views to review. Or, more should I say, just the one. And then maybe a bit more to follow. Give or take. Depends on what you guys think. Or what you guys want. But in the meantime, how are we all? Hope you are all ready for this review. I know I certainly am. This is going to be a heck of a show. And dare I say, it was one of the better ones in quite some time. I think that's a strong reflection of where we are right now. So, before we do, pleasantries, of course, it's Reece, the host of the Weekly Steelchair and the channel owner. If you're going to join us in the chat, please do. If you'd like to jump on and talk, then feel free, drop some comments in. In the meantime, my other monitors have decided not to switch on, so I'm just going to cut the connect down because I've got a lot to share. But let's do this. So 3, 2, 1, back in a sec. There we go. That should be it now. Let me just fix that. There we go. That should be it now. They're just getting used to it. Behave. Behave. I was going to play nice. There we go. They don't like playing ball. Misbehaving little Torags. That's my monitors. It's cause I need to sort my workspace out because things are changing a little bit. But we have some good news, ladies and gentlemen. We have some very good news. Before we get into it, my new processor has arrived. Well, actually, I say that. My new motherboard, my new processor is on the way. So PC upgrades by the end of the week. Our streams are gaming streams. These live streams are going to be cooking on a whole new level. So we are on the firing path. Right. First of all, pleasantries. Matthew, good seeing you, man. You're at work. I know how you feel. I'm no long finished, my man. I hope you're doing well. Catherine, she's just got home from taking her mum to run errands. Lovely. Abul's on time for once. The man's shocked. The guy's in there. Yeah, for a 20-minute match, you're damn right. If it wasn't going to be, then there'd be a lot of issues. Yeah, I saw that. Long story short, FA and all the other weirdos that run GCW should know better. Because I watched that clip back and that his whole positioning is pathetic. Like for that entire thing, and also no sympathy for the Megan Bain match. What the hell are you doing? Doing a move like that off the top rope and you're slamming someone off the ring apron. I'm telling you now, these ring apron moves need to be managed better across every promotion. It's becoming a major concern right now. because it's not even funny anymore. Like, there's injuries and then there's this. Like, God forbid, can you actually manage your work better? Because it's actually becoming a joke. Like, Ali Catch has broke her leg because some idiot didn't know how to manage their position properly during a bloody suicide dive. Like, for goodness sake. Like, it was ridiculous. And also, I did see the PCO thing. That's not a work, by the way. That's legitimate. I don't blame him, by the way. Long story short, I don't blame him for that. I think he's right to do so. But again, how you conduct yourself is very important. If you come across in such a way, you're going to get a lot of heat. He absolutely will. But it was the manner of speaking. Yeah, it's your inauguration day, so unlucky. Just in the nicest way. That's just my view on it. There's actually a good runtime for the matches last night. Yeah, it's definitely not a storyline. Long story short, back in the 90s, PCO was actually in the WWE, and he had I think it might be with Vince. It was either Vince or Bruce Pritchard. He had a falling out with WWE over, I think it was character use and how he was being used, and he's never went back since. He has a disdain for the WWE, and that has gone on for well over, well, it was longer than I was born. You're talking 1996, something like that. Really, really long time ago. Currently watching the Hardys versus the Rascals. Not bad. That was a good match last night. There was a few matches on this card that genuinely did suck. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's a few matches that did suck. Despite this being my favorite promotion, I'm unbiased. But when you look at match quality in general, the length of time given, fair play all round. I mean, I advocate for ensuring you get the best possible time for each match. The combined total for the men, bell to bell, 12. So that's 1305, 2750, 2750, 3510, 5830, 1 hour 11 minutes 15, 1 hour 35 minutes. That's for the men. The women last night, 1405, 3420, 43. 44 minutes exact. Yeah, it was. It was a really stupid gimmick. The annoying thing is the character he's done since 2003 is far better. It fits him really well. The only problem is for this guy, it's just his age. Yes and no. Like, I think what he's done is much more impressive than what Rey Fenix has done. The difference is he's actually shooting on the circumstance. He's not shooting on the individuals, despite it being company related. But he's actually done it in a way where he's actually putting himself over as a heel, and he's actually putting TNA over in a different way. So he's actually going out doing business. ironically, all the talents that finished up with TNA last night in circumstances put the company and talent over the way they've been asked to do it, and they've fulfilled it. I've got no problem with it, with what he did. The only thing I did have a problem with was, well, his botched attempt to destroy the title. I think that was quite I think that was quite lame from him, and I think that was quite poor. I think it's company property. You shouldn't be destroying that. But again, it comes across as him being a heel, especially to the GCW crowd, where I think if he's clever, that's where he should stay. Did you punch her? Did you punch her? Or did you go and try and punch her? Because if you did, I would give you an applause. Okay, so we have, careful WWE fans that are watching this, careful, we have 10 matches to review. It was meant to be 9, but then we got a random impromptu match on the pre-show. So we actually had 2 pre-show matches plus 8 matches on the main card. And you know what? See, for a 3 hours worth of pay-per-view, I'll take that because it flowed really well, and it didn't give me it didn't actually make me feel tired. I actually felt very relaxed watching this show. Actually, I was more relaxed. I was absolutely buzzing. And I get the same vibe from other companies that do the same for their pay-per-views, where they take it like that, in that serious way. So I'm happy for that. Also, like I say, I'm a big TNA fan. I was at the TNA event in Glasgow not that long ago. See, I told you, I'm a bigger Josh Alexander fan than anybody. I'm wearing my Josh Alexander walking weapon shirt. The man is a machine. Like, it's a reality with it. So your subscription, so there's free subscriptions on the TNA Plus app. One of them doesn't give you pay-per-views, unfortunately, and that's the option I have. But I'm alright with that because I just use the TNA Plus app to rewatch old content and rewatch the TV. I watch the pay-per-views on Triller anyway. I find it a little bit more cheaper. I mean, pay-per-view last night, 20 quid. No bother. Speaking of which, for them as well, it was it's not some fabricated one that's going to be like fabricated information. It is genuine. It's one of the first things that's happened to TNA in a long time. It is a positive. Yesterday's event at Genesis. Yesterday's Genesis event was actually TNA's most successful January pay-per-view in terms of gates from the crowd. That's never happened for them before. So I'm glad for them. Yeah, the next subscription up, I might upgrade mine, so that means I'll get the pay-per-views anyway. I'm actually very tempted because it'll be so much easier. But the next tier up, I think it's 40. I think. I need to double check, but I can double check the tiers and then I can go for it. I do recommend the TNA Plus app because right now on the TNA Plus app, you've got, besides you can watch all the old episodes and the old pay-per-views, they've actually got Masha Slamovic's top 10 TNA matches right now, and one of them is Amazing Red versus AJ Styles on NWA TNA back in 2002. It's also got the Unbreakable Triple Threat, and it's got Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles at Turning Point. So I do recommend them. If you've never seen these are all like, it's quite a while ago, but it was peak stuff. But obviously I do have to address some changes within TNA, obviously, that are very important before we even review this show. Obviously, one of them is impacted by one of the matches, well, actually, it's the best match of the night, regardless, in my opinion. The total crowd was... Let me see if I can get the actual attendance for you. It was sold out, by the way. Ironically, because he got banned from ringside, Ryan Nemeth actually bought the last ticket. So I think actually it was a sellout crowd from what they actually took. So Curtis Culwell Centre holds. So I don't think they got the they didn't get the 8,500 capacity. But I think from what they were physically able to get, I think you're talking about 3.5, 4. Oh, it looked really good, honestly. I think for once it was good to see a strong production, and I think they've really invested into it. They have to keep going with that though. Like I'm not going to disagree, but I'm not going to dispute that they have to maintain this. But it was good to see from the crowd. So I can just find the freaking attendance. So I don't want to bullshit you guys. I want to give you the actual attendance. Yo, Fletch, my man, how are you, brother? Also, shout out to if people want to talk about the if anyone wants to talk about like attendance Discord, shout out to GCW as well. They got a record attendance last night for the Hammerstein Ballroom, so shout out to them. It would help if they would just tell me what the freaking attendance was. I have to go into. Yeah, PCO crashing out was mental. Luckily, I've got 3 monitors. I can go back and forth. Let me see if I can get what I'm after. It's annoying that I never. Why can't they not just have exactly what you want? You know what I mean? It's pathetic. I do think that's a fact though, Fletch. I do agree. Yeah, so it was sold out, and the crowd looks amazing last night. Yeah, so they're saying it was sold out. So if they're saying sold out, it means about 8.5K. But I think if you're looking at it, I think you're looking at about 6. I think the allocation was 6K, and I don't care. Like if that's your allocation, that's sold out. Fucking good for you. Honestly, that's how it should be. Last night's pay-per-view worth watching? Yes, it is worth watching. Just skip the Ash by Elegance match. Except Danny Luna absolutely ripping her apart. I think Dolph dropped the tail because he doesn't work with NXT anymore, at least the rumours say. So I do think, I firmly believe that Nick Nemeth will stick to just TNA. After, and then his extension will expire, and then he'll go to AEW. It's 8.5. It's 8.5K. If you look at the venues they're running this year for their pay-per-views only, so last night was a pay-per-view. Rebellion, Slammiversary, Bound for Glory. They're all picked venues that hold around 10K. They hold around 10K, which is mental. The one for Slammiversary is 11,000. I heard some decent things about it. I just hate Effie. The guy's a prick. Is it true Josh Alexander's going to WWE? Damn out at Josh and Speedball and New Japan. Mustafa Ali should join them. It's also, man, imagine G1. Mustafa Ali will go AEW. Josh Alexander's going to do free agents, I think, until the end of the year. Speedball, MLP, because AEW passed on him. But if they all went New Japan, you've improved your main roster. I think Alexander and Ethan are going to get the North back to get NXT. Perhaps if that's the case, why not re-sign with TNA and do both, and then have Ethan Page cross over? Not hating on NXT, but Josh deserves better. I agree. There were some things between them, but apparently it was resolved, as far as I know. If I was booking TNA, I'd put Blanchard with Hogan as her manager, Imagine the Heat. You know what's funny? See, after last night with all the chants towards her, you're not wrong, by the way. MLP is supposedly dead. Scott, he's fine. He was only there to negotiate talent for their shows. MLP are cooking. Look at their YouTube stuff. Honestly. Speaking of Hogan, he became a grandfather as Brookcat twins. Yes. Are they not both black? If so, Hogan won't have anything to do with them. Just saying. And that's not a dig at, that's not a dig in any shape or form. It's just a fact because we know what that guy's like. Scott was not there. Yeah, exactly. He was there to do talent negotiation. Okay, so we get the 1 hour pre-show. We get 2 matches. One of them surprised the hell out of me because it was the first actual visible talent to appear from NXT. So Ashanti the Adonis. Yeah, I know. What a shock. Oh yeah. My man, when is the board giving Amory proper players? We need wingers. As far as I'm aware, we're signing Dorgu from Lecce, so we're going to get a wing back. But fuck, we need number 10s. We need a striker. We need midfielders. We need wing backs. We need a goalkeeper because the goalkeeper we've got in charge is as clever as Eugene. We've got so many. I don't hold back. You know me by now, Catherine. I don't hold back. I ain't afraid. Ashanti the Adonis is the first man from NXT to appear in TNA television in terms of since the merger. He challenges anybody in the TNA locker room for an impromptu match. After hearing David LaGreca speak for 10 minutes, at least it was a shuffle. He gets Jake something and he gets ripped apart for 3 minutes 55 seconds. This felt like that, except Ashanti the Adonis. It says a lot when talent that used to want to be in a faction with this guy got out quickly because of it. You know? So he got out quickly. There was other talents that turned up that at least offer a better conversation. What does Ashanti the Adonis offer? Besides terrible glasses. What does he offer? Partnership. What is your thoughts on Wade Keller's news on Britt Baker? Britt Baker's a bitch. Britt Baker can't work. Britt Baker has no talent. Britt Baker is a slob. She should stick to dental work. And she should learn that when you sandbag people in front of 55,000 people, you don't deserve a fucking career in pro wrestling. Yeah. If you actually look at his whole thing, promo, match, and getting the fuck out of the arena, he probably had about 10 minutes. Should we get real glass? That at least was something, but after that we then have to suffer the words, exactly, Maria, Britt Baker is trash. Just ask Thunder Rosa. Actually, ask Mercedes Moné as well. And Phoenix, with whole free Phoenix, my man, you signed a contract, honor and love it, but now he's a clip. I've always liked Phoenix, but he should have taken the approach from his brother. Notice how Pentagon Jr. is more mature. Pentagon realized that he'd done everything he wanted to do in AEW, which is completely fine. There's no knock in that. He achieved all he wanted to do in AEW, and he thought, you know what? I've done Lucha Underground. I've done Lucha Underground. I've done TNA. I've done the first All In. There was an amazing event in front of 10,000 people. I've done the matches across Mexico. I've done AEW. I've done All In. Now I'm in WWE. It's so stupid for these talents to cause a bitch fit when all they need to do is just do the job. See if Ray Phoenix had shut his mouth, he would have been fine. I think Tony Cameron, you know what? Fine. Off you go. I appreciate the 5 years, but now you can go. Instead, he's made a mockery of himself, and I blame Conan. Ray Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. owe Conan nothing. They owe him nothing. So make that what you will. Kervin, my man, how are you doing, sir? How are you? The best part about the Jordan Grace versus Tessa Blanchard match was the fan chat. She's a racist. Yeah, I found the commentary very interesting. The minute that happened, because I'm sitting there going, "Are they chanting she's a racist?" I'll say this about TNA fans: it's more hardcore than WWE fans. At least TNA fans had the balls to chant to someone directly to their face, "You're a racist." WWE fans, Saturday night's main event, Hulk Hogan's going to be there. If you don't have the same energy, then yous are nothing on TNA fans. Just saying. When Phoenix finally signs with WWE, should he and Penta team up again or be singles? I think they will team up now and again, but I think Penta's going to be a heel single. That's just my thoughts. Where does Josh Alexander sign? I think he's going to do free agent stuff. He's going to try and do the indie shows that he missed out on, which he was unlucky to miss out on. I think he's going to go do some indies. I think he will have a few appearances maybe in Japan. I think he'll come over to the UK for a bit, do some UK stuff, like Rev Pro. And then I think he'll either sign with AEW or he'll sign with New Japan. I don't know if he goes WWE, but if he goes WWE, I'm telling you now, I would belt the guy up a WWE champion on his first night. Plain and simple. I would shove that WWE title right on him from the first night, or the World Championship. Yes, he is. Penta's a legend. Joe Hendry finished his story. Take that, Cody. Cody slander after 27 minutes. Lol. K-Dog has always been a backstage pain in the ass. K-Dog is an absolute clubfest. He nearly ruined Homicide and Hernandez in TNA when they were the original LAX. Thank God they got away from him, because he would have killed them. GBL and Raw tonight, clothesline from hell. Yeah, GBL. Well, obviously that's the second TNA main event in a row. Actually, third main event he's got involved in. I think I got a weird thing. I actually think he is. I think he'll absolutely be on. We know he's on Raw. In terms of clotheslines, you know what? We know that JBL back in the day was made to run like an uber racist. And obviously that is being pushed heavy a lot right now, which is mad. If I was GBL, I'd be clotheslining the hell out of Damian Priest. WWE was okay with Jordan facing Blanchard. Yeah. WWE had no say in this. Nor hating, but TNA looks like Levesque's indie project. You'd be surprised. He's got no say on their creative. You'd be surprised. Yeah, they're trying to whitewash her. After this blip, Tessa Blanchard will be back she'll be back in Mexico after these appearances are over, I reckon. What would you do with Blanchard to delete this heat if you were a booker and had to have her on the show? I would have her embrace it. See, last night when she was doing all that to all the fans, I would just have her keep doing that. Best thing about being a heel, you embrace it. Like, let her go nuts. But I do agree with Matthew as well. I would have her say she's an idiot and she apologizes in that way, but then tell the fans who don't support her to stick it. Blanchard won't lose to everybody though. The annoying thing is though, is you can hate a talent, but annoyingly she is a good worker. That's the problem with pro wrestling. This is a fact, and this is what people need to remember as well about pro wrestling. Most of the top talents in pro wrestling are assholes. Most of the top talents are assholes, or were top talents were assholes. on every level. I would create a faction with black ladies just to beat the hell out of Tessa Blanchard. Well, ironically enough, Tasha Steele's moves were getting used last night. Tony was smart to keep Britt Baker sitting at home. She's not worth the headache. Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I do like this, to be fair. GBL as Gunther's manager would go wild. GBL should just take the world title off Gunther. Because here's a clue. Gunther's a good wrestler. GBL's a better heel. I would, for a joke, but the weird thing is, he would draw money. GBL would be a better world champion for WWE right now than Gunther. And if you know your pro wrestling, you'll know why. Anyway, Frankie Kazarian versus Leon Slater. You know what? This actually, on its own, this would have got pay-per-view buys anyway. For less than 10 minutes, this match was ecstatic. Leon Slater last night, he cooked with Kazarian. Honestly, this is Kazarian last night worked with the best young talent, in my opinion, in pro wrestling. I think there's no bar that Leon Slater can't eclipse. He's that good. I like his look. I like his work. I like his confidence on the mic. The fact he's 19 years old as well. That's a good thing. He's got so many years in the business ahead of him. He's someone that you could theoretically say, when you look at him, this guy would win the junior heavyweight title in New Japan. This is the guy who would win the international title in AEW easily. This is the guy you would put the Intercontinental title on in WWE. The X Division title or the World Championship in TNA. Like, he is that good. Like, people bought into him at Progress and all that, and rightly so. This guy is wonderful. If you haven't watched this, it is on YouTube. Give it a watch. It's really well done. Kazarian sneaks away with a classic pin, as he does, but honestly, it worked really well, and I like the fact that you got to see Kazarian just allow Leon Slater to get his work in before the veteran got the veteran win. Like, that for me is so damn important. He put him over with that loss. Leon Slater got put over, but when you look at it in the right way, it helps Kazarian because it still adds elements to the main event. Will he or won't he cash in his title opportunity? So you got to feed the doubt. So I quite liked it in that way. It was well done. It was 100% a shoot. That was a shoot last night. PCO hates WWE. And he hates the involvement. Some of the things he did say was technically untrue. He never sold out the biggest TNA gate. He never has. He's never done that. But he wasn't wrong about some things either. What do you think about MJF's last 2 years in AEW? Lame feud with Cole for 2 years now. Oh, Jarrett, I was expecting more of MJF 2-3 years ago. MJF is finished. MJF is what, 25, 26 years old? And I don't know what you do with him. Like, he got mugged by Jeff Jarrett in that promo last week. He got mugged. I don't know what you can physically do. And this is another thing as well, and this is not something that AEW fans need to point score about with MJF for WWE fans, but if a hardcore WWE fan saw MJF's promos, they instantly would say, you know what, this guy doesn't even work in WWE. Like, he physically doesn't work. You can't even repackage him. Like, you physically can't repackage him. That's his problem. MJF leads into so much bollocks for his promos, and it's not even working anymore. Like, the cheap insults and the cheap comments. That's no surprise that my co-host Ailey hates him. Mind you, she hates a lot of things in AEW, but she's got her fair points. But the one thing she hates more than anything is MJF, and I don't blame her. He had all the talent in the world, and he wasted it with these cheap pop comments. Like, there's no point anymore. done with. Nobody wanted to hear the Owen Hart shit. Nobody wanted to hear the stuff about Karen Jarrett. If you want to hit Jeff Jarrett where it hurts, hit him where it hurts about his career. Nobody cares about the shit about his wife. Nobody wants to hear about Owen Hart. It's not because Owen Hart's not important. It's not that Owen Hart isn't important. It's nobody wants to talk ill of the dead. Christian gets away with it because Christian does it differently. He doesn't attack. He doesn't insult the dead parents. He just says, "Oh, you haven't got a dad. You've not got a father figure who's actually going to help you get better, become a better person." MJF is just a moron. He has all the talent in the world, but his promos need to change. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point if you cannot fix your promo skills? That is the elements of him being a twat. I like MJF, even though I've just done my own promo on the bitch. I've just done a heavy promo on it. He's got elements where he can improve if he has the opportunity to do so. If I was him right now, I would be pulling my promos and I'd be like, no, this is what I want to talk about. Get it done. If you don't want to do that, I hear OVW is hiring. Just look for some of your comments. This one particular, PCO goes to New Japan or MLW. I can see him in MLW. MLW would be very good for him. When you can check out this new young wrestler from Portugal? His name is, I have heard of him. Yeah, long story short, my friend works for RevPro. My friend's a referee for RevPro, and he sent me clips of him. I think he's quality. And that's not a joke. Genuinely, my friend works for RevPro. He's one of the top referees for RevPro. As soon as I jumped on, I got a call for crying out loud. What did I miss with TNA? Not much, mate. Don't worry. We've only just done the 2 pre-show matches, and can I just say that the pre-show was ruined because it was hosted by Busted Open. I don't want them there, especially David LaGreca. The guy's boring as piss water. MJF, I think, leaves to WWE when his deal's up. I don't think even if he goes to WWE, he's in for a rude awakening because some of his promos, it won't even get over with a WWE crowd. It won't. MJF is 28. He's known for 6 years. And he's already with the Roman part-time schedule. Buddy, you need to be great. Exactly. All right, Keem, what's happening, man? Thoughts on Joe Hendry calling out John Cena and also John Cena promoting the WWE partnership? You know what? Fair play. I mean, if he's going to promote it, then cool. But I want to see what he's going to, what other energy he's going to bring from it. According to some people in the crowd last night, CM Punk was there. I don't think Punk was there, but if he was, cool. Because he used to have an affliction with TNA back in the day. He had great matches with Raven. But as for Joe Hendry, to be fair, your top champion, he wants to go after someone in that way. Maybe MJF is just another miss. Yeah, perhaps. Yep. Busted Open were hosting the whole damn thing. MJF would have been a great heel in the Charlotte territory, in my opinion. If this was TNA WWE collab, doesn't have AJ Styles showing up and Riot, I think AJ Styles will show up at Slammiversary. And then you'll get a Hall of Fame induction at Bound for Glory this year. And Christopher Daniels. I think they both go in together. To be honest, they are. And I'll tell you who's the worst for it. Bully Ray. No bias between them. Some of the guys on there are actually quite biased. Unbiased to all companies. If it doesn't, then I'm going to be asking serious questions. Put it that way. There's a few other talents that should be there. For example, one of the nights should be creatively ran by Bobby Roode. AJ will get Hall of Fame induction TNA. Yeah, of course he will. GCW as well. They had another TNA original there last night. One of my all-time favorites. Amazing Red was at GCW last night. Proper sick. I don't know why Busted Open got it in the first place. I actually do not know why they had this. It makes no sense. Yeah, Cody's entire length of run, when you deep it with TNA, was like 3 weeks. For all the content he did, because of how TNA was at the time, there was some problems with TNA. It was literally like 3 weeks of altogether, which is quite funny. I think they want to focus on NXT wrestlers to battle TNA, which I'm not a fan of. Yeah, see, this is the thing. I want to see main roster talent as well. Like, otherwise, I don't care about the conversation, like, in that way. Like, I see it all the time on social media. TNA did this with XYZ promotion, or TNA did this. Until something physically tangible happens in this reality about who does what better. TNA's best partnership was with New Japan in the early 2000s. Regardless, in my opinion, it's still the best partnership. Because look at the talent they brought in, and look at the talent they worked with over there. I don't care about the who did it better between TNA and AEW or TNA and WWE, even though last night was the first official show. I don't give a fuck about that. You ask me to my face, you put a gun to my face, what's the best partnership TNA has had? I'm going to tell you, New Japan. It just got wrong because of how Okada was used. That's where it went wrong. TNA versus NXT War Games, please no. Please no. I would rather be a traditional match. I would rather be a traditional match, my friend. I think using War Games for this... I don't think that would be the right choice. I would rather just a traditional match. I think that would be a whole lot better. That's my take on it anyway. But I can see you're thinking, not a bad shout. Not a bad shout. I can still talk to you guys because I've got the mic in front of me. Do I want this hat or do I want my other hats? What are we thinking? Nah, we'll stick with this one. Okay, right. First main match of the card, and also because I've got it on here, the new X Division title. Unfortunately, that's your champion. But the new title, I didn't notice this until after the title was actually released on images. It does actually physically say the system on it. On the sides of the title, it does actually say the system in blood red, which is actually really cool. This match with Ace Austin is actually one of the best opening matches you'll see for probably the whole of 2025. And that's not bias. It's just the whole way, start to finish, this match rules. It's very well presented. Oh yeah, Okato. I mean, he literally thought he was the Green Hornet. That would be horrible. That faction better get nowhere near TNA, or I will cause a riot. I will genuinely cause a riot if that happens, because it would be horrible. Ace Austin should have won. Not yet. Especially if you're introducing the new system championship, like the new systems version of the X Division title. I think you need to let that settle in. I think he won't hold it for long though. I think they've got someone in mind in particular to let. I think you've got someone in a way to let them know. I think they're gearing up for Moose to drop to Santana. Santana wins it and he does option C. But to be fair, I did like this match last night. There's actually a very cool spot. I'm actually going to share it directly from my Twitter. I'm hoping I didn't clip it, otherwise I'll get fucking hooked by these bastards. See if I can find what I'm looking for. In fact, no, I can just describe it. Very end of the match last night. So obviously systems at ringside, GDC, known as to you a lot as Fandango or Dirty Dango and all that. He was at ringside. He actually gets caught with a spear, and then in this is the full speed counter. Ace Austin hits Moose with a fold, which says run and flip over neck breaker. He goes for that, then he goes for it off the ropes, gets caught off a spear off the back. He gets speared in the back, which is mental. Moose is actually Moose's spear. It's only been kicked out, I think, in TNA by 4 or 5 people. Ace Austin is one of those men. Santana's the other. He kicked out 2 last night. He gets speared in the back, then he gets speared on the front. But generally, in terms of opening matches, this goes about 15 minutes. It's actually really well done. So if you like a short, fast match with good pace between a smaller talent and a bigger talent, do watch this one. Even if you don't want to watch the whole card, you just want to watch some matches, I do recommend Moose versus Ace Austin. Moose's X Division as champion isn't Moose a heavyweight. Yeah, but X Division, there's no limits, remember. There's no limits. Joe Hendry calls out John Cena for a match with the TNA title on the line to finish his story. Suppose? When I was 15, I couldn't make a show. My friend went to meet and greet and he said, hey, my friend Joe's a big fan. He couldn't come. Would you call him? And John Cena held a meet and greet phone from my friend's phone, talked to me for 5 minutes. He was the first guy I ever spoke to. Nice. I feel that's a story I need to finish. John Cena, let's do this for the TNA title. The only thing with that, though, is where they have it. And also, it really does depend on the manner of it, because the weird thing is, I just don't see it happening, but weirdly enough, it might be a lot of fun. Of course, Samoa Joe was a heavyweight. He was still X Division champion on multiple occasions. You should know that, Abu. Post-match attack from the rest of the system, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. Again, I reiterate my disgruntlement about the system. It's time to get rid of JDC and Brian Myers. The good hands should be in. They should be in this faction instead. Get rid of these 2 Muppets. It's time to do the business. Post-match, they go to attack Ace Austin, but Ace Austin's defended by Eric Young and Steve Macklin. They go straight into the next match, which is a tag team action. This is about 8 minutes long. It's actually a decent match, to be fair, but my problem is I didn't need it on the card. Even though this show is 10 matches, I think this one wasn't essential. I would have gave more time to the next one so I could have the person I absolutely despise the most in TNA get beaten up for a lot longer. But it ends with the match does end with Steve Macklin hitting his equivalent of the Impaler DDT. Decent match, but it's not really perfect. But it could have been better. But if you'd taken off the card, I would have given the whole 7.5 minutes. I would have given it to Spitfire to beat the absolute piss out of Dana Brooke and her little friend. Can't see John Cena against Joe Hendry in the big pay-per-view. Don't worry, I don't either. Potentially. They already have the exposure. They don't necessarily need Cena for that. Right now, exposure's not the thing TNA needs. They need deep it. That's not what they need right now. Styles dethroning Hendry would be better than Hendry, but than Cena. But yeah, Anthem won't sell. I guarantee you, Anthem will not sell. They ain't gonna do it. I'm actually confident of that. They will not sell their biggest asset. Especially if you're a media company specific to sport, like media and television, and your biggest asset is TNA, they will not sell. Not a chance. Jordan Grace has won the Rumble and challenged Rhea. Jordan Grace will be in the final 4 and she'll get beaten by Charlotte Flair. Yes, Thunder Rosa still in busted open, yeah. As I said, up next is a skip match, unless you really want it, but it is 10 minutes for women. But I'll actually show you guys the match times for these as well, because for a decent runtime pay-per-view, the run times on the show is actually not so bad for each match. So, especially when you see the longest match, rightly so, is my match of the night anyway. But Charlotte Flair's going to win the Royal Rumble, mate. I'm telling you now. She'll win the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I know. I don't understand why Stephanie Vaquer's taking L's to Shotzi when Shotzi can't wrestle. But Jordynne Grace will be I think she'll be in the final four. If not, she'll be close. I think she'll be quite close. You'd be surprised. Only one TNA women's talent will probably show up. Only one. I don't think, personally, don't think TNA can save Jade Cargill. I think Jade Cargill should just go to Hollywood. That's my opinion. I think she should just go to Hollywood. She's not good enough. I just want wrestling to succeed. Not only WWE. We all know how the wrestling picture was when WWE didn't have competition, boring as fuck. To be fair, if there is no competition for a promotion in any landscape, then they get complacent. WWE for many years, when they had nothing, got very complacent. It takes a lot for a company to do well. That's why WWE, when you look at the talent that WWE, for example, had in the 90s, before the Attitude Era, you had top talent. Their creative booking in 1995 was hilarious. It took for WCW to make Nitro, for WWE to learn the error of their ways. It took them to learn the errors of their ways in 2009 when TNA was beating them every single week on match quality and show quality. So there is big moments. I think the irony about pro wrestling companies is it doesn't take a lot to fix a company. It's just, are you willing to do it? And at certain points they work. I'll stop watching. I will officially stop watching. Question: should WWE fire Jade and focus on Bianca, an actual talented wrestler? Yes. 100%. Ace Austin's on a long-term TNA contract. And he's fine where he is. He's actually presented as a top talent in TNA. I think even Maxine's a better wrestler than Jade. Jade had already both WWE and AEW trained to actually be good, but Jade's had so many opportunities that even in a match with Dana Brooke, she still couldn't get the job done. That's how bad she is. If you put her in the ring with Dana Brooke, she still sucks. With the crossover, will TNA legends get a WWE Hall of Fame spot like WCW legends do? To an extent, I would assume so. Contributions to the business, I would assume so. It's not really like a. I don't think they're particularly interested about getting in the Hall of Fame. I think they're more interested in just being the best they can. So Independence Hall of Fame is a thing now. Amazing Rev was inducted last night. Oh, it's been around for a while, yeah. Every indie company can induct people. Yeah, you can so there's the independent Wrestling Hall of Fame. There's actually a lot of Hall of Fames. You'll be surprised. So TNA's got their own Hall of Fame. WWE's got a Hall of Fame. There's the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, there's the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, there's the Independent Hall of Fame, there's a few others. You would be genuinely surprised. Like, you would be genuinely surprised how many fucking Hall of Fames there are. Put it this way, there's more Hall of Fames than Arsenal's had European trophies. And always will. Jade is officially Ryback. That made... Nah, my man's not a YouTube channel. He's just a bald-headed son of a bitch. I'm only kidding. Abil's cool. Abil's cool. Main Event Mafia is a fast you're going. Yeah. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. He just likes to hit people with his knee. I'll cut one on YouTube, biatch. Up next is literally 9 minutes 35 seconds of, unfortunately, Dana Brooke, who belongs in hell, and her tag partner Heather by Elegance. So damn boring. Can't work a match. Can't cut a promo. Looks like a chav. I have got no genuine interest in seeing this woman wrestle. I am sick of her. Why did you hire her in the first place? Get rid. Finito. Done. New one on interest in her career. Go. And it's even better that she gets suplexed up and down this bloody ring. Worst match of the night. Worst match of the night. Funny you have the same name. You should. Yeah, you should. You behave. You behave. TNA's always had. Dave Meltzer's always had an agenda against TNA. Like, that's a fact. He's always had an agenda against TNA. Goes back a long, long way. As a journalist, like, historical sense, like, from the historical point of view, like, from the historical aspect and what he has knowledge of the business, I respect Meltzer for that. As a journalist, I've got no interest. But he has had agendas against TNA for a very long time. How long is Ricky Stark's contract with AEW? That's a good fucking question, actually. I'll check this now for you. So according to WrestleTalk and WrestleZone, make of that what you will, and Wrestling Inc. Ricky Stark's contract expires between spring and summer 2025. So I would say between April and August. It's between April and August, by the looks of it. If I take that what you will, if I'm taking that as an educated guess, but that's according to two sources, that his contract expires between spring, summertime. That's why he's doing a lot of independent bookings right now to keep himself in ring shape. Have you seen the trailer of the new wrestling movie coming up featuring Camille? I haven't. So apparently it's true. Megan Bain is AEW contract. She's been sent to AEW for about 3 years. But TK handed her HOG to help them. I don't see anyone praise TK for that. I get it. Trendy hate gets more likes. He did that, but last night it went horribly wrong. That match she had last night, she's a great wrestler, but last night that match is a joke. They got that horribly wrong last night. I am actually sick of companies. This is all pro wrestling companies. I'm calling them out for this. I'm sick of pro wrestling companies doing extensive heavy moves on the ring apron. It's actually getting out. It's not even worth my entertainment anymore. Every company, I don't care. I'm sick to death of cutters, suplexes, tombstone pile drivers, sweep moves, all of that on the ring apron. Because eventually someone's going to end up getting much worse than what fucking happened to Ali Catch last night. Just look now, people complain about TK doing big arenas, now that he's doing full small arenas, he still gets... Do what they like. I don't care what a company does. All I care about is a company caters to what matters most. If they don't, then they're not worth watching. That's the difference. If you're not going to do that, then you're not worth watching. This is every company. If you just start doing what isn't you, then there's no point. You've already lost the battle. Yeah, I saw that. They're all as bad as each other. When will they ever learn? Instead of... This is something I actually will give Tony Khan advice on. Then after this, I'm not talking about I'm not going to talk about more about AEW. I'm going to say this now. This is the last thing I'm going to say about AEW for the rest of this show until I do the Dynamite review this week. Tony Khan should just embrace his faults because it'll make his strengths better. It's not hard. Apparently, Tom Aspinall wants to come to WWE after he retires from the UFC. I mean, I can see that. I don't think he transitions well. I don't know if he transitions well, though. Who would you add as the first AEW Hall of Famer, Jericho or Sting? I think realistically, if you look at first big name and first major talent signed and first star, and to be fair, despite being an absolute bozo, I think no one should get ahead of Chris Jericho as first induction. That's my opinion. He would be my first induction, and if they did one, that's what I would do. I would induct him. He's a robbing bastard, John Jones. He's a robbing bastard. 30 million, I'll take him and I'll knock him out. Joking. So where were we? Oh yeah. 9 minutes 35 seconds and finished. Yes and no. That's because John Jones knows he would get his head knocked off. That Scandal Walker couldn't do anything. Why won't AEW book Athena in AEW? No idea. I agree with Jericho, not the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks shouldn't be getting ahead of the likes of Kenny Omega in terms of first inductions. Depends on what you're dethroning her off. Anyway, your first long featured match of the event. Crowd went fucking ballistic during this one, from before the music started, during the entrance, once the bell rang, during Jordan Grace's entrance, inside the ring, outside the ring, once the match ended. The crowd went berserk for Tessa Blanchard last night. The crowd was already good. Like, the crowd was genuinely already good at this point. The crowd went psycho at this relevant moment. Now, I've said it, half an hour ago, and I stand by it. WWE fans, don't compare to TNA fans. Because where was the energy for Hulk Hogan? You gotta have that energy. If they don't have it for Hogan at Saturday Night's Main Event, then you should be embarrassed. The worst thing about it as well is this match was actually brilliant. This match was brilliant. Especially with the fact that you've got the additional heat. Like, the actual heat that she got from this as well. And The funny thing is, the only thing that put up a major fight to Tessa Blanchard last night was the turnbuckle. I think they've already escalated in a way, though. I don't know what more you can physically get from this, though, with Tessa Blanchard. I've always said I'm a fan of her work, I'm not a fan of the person. But in reality, I don't know what she gets out of this anyway, because she's not signed to TNA. She's only there on a pay by performance, like based on how many appearances she makes. I'm fully expecting her to go back to Mexico soon. So I actually physically do not know what you get from this. We'll find out, but for 20 minutes you got the top turnbuckle codebreaker that she calls Magnum. Jordan Grace is physically bullying her. Jordan Grace is working at a much faster speed last night than I've seen her work in quite some time. The speed she was working at shows that she was really there to do damage. All across the board, it was a very good technical match. And the crowd didn't disappoint because they were actually, one, they were on the hometown they were on the hometown hero side, but they were really at it with the heel. And you think about go away heat, or you think about extreme level of go away heat, Tessa Blanchard has eclipsed all of that. She's eclipsed that to the point where you actually cannot measure how much the crowd genuinely got right against her last night. That was brutality at its finest. This is the second. Yeah, this was the second best match on the card. Out of the entire show, it was the second best match. But even I was stunned at the level of speed that both women worked to. I'm surprised that they were given that length of time as well. I was thinking this was going to go about 15 minutes. I didn't think it would go 20. So I'll give props to that. But when the crowd are against you like that as well, that length of time, that vitriol, that anger, there's only so much you can physically allow. Yeah, cheers, Fletch. Appreciate it, buddy. She's always wanted to go there regardless. It makes no difference. Hollywood Hogan? I can see that. I think they're trying to test the waters. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He massively wants this. The funniest thing about it as well is Charlotte would get. I mean, she would get a top opponent. But you actually get two top opponents going against each other. But the funny thing is who does the crowd cheer for? Like that's actually there's actually a level of hilarity with this. Yeah, she has said it in the past that she wants to wrestle Tessa Blanchard. You've got Horseman legacy at stake, which actually holds more to it, and I think that's really cool. But I didn't expect it to go so far last night between those two. I really didn't. What have we got next? Yeah, the match of the night. Where is it? Yeah, it does. It does. Magnum TA Tully Blanchard versus Ric Flair in terms of legacy. It's as far as you can go in terms of family feuds. and family dynamic as well as a group. It doesn't get any bigger. If you're being honest, like that's actually a major point. It doesn't get any bigger than those two. Both are from Charlotte. That's right. Madness, isn't it? There we go. I'll stand here for a bit. That can sit above me like a needle in a haystack. This, however, thank you for picking this as a stipulation. That was genius. Because it got to allow Josh Alexander to really test Santana, to prove Santana could really be the mainstay of the organization itself, and could they actually physically buy into him as a main event talent. After last night, yeah. Santana was already really good, but last night was his best ever match. That was phenomenal last night. This was the best match on the card. I'm always skeptical when it comes to I Quit matches anyway, because not everyone does them really well. There's only a clamour of great I Quit matches, but this one is well and truly worthy of the words great. Like, that's actually so damn important. So I'm actually glad that I got to watch that one. I'm glad they chose the I Quit match instead of just a regular match. I think if it was just a regular match, I don't think it had more jeopardy. But I got hold a little bit of fairness though when it comes to this one. Even though it's a great match, there is one moment where I have to really hold fair. I can't be a hypocrite. Because I've called out Will Ospreay for it. Again, he does it. I've called out Jacob for it. I've called out Sami Zayn for it. I'm calling out Santana for this. If you get hit with Josh Alexander's C4 spike finish, which is a butterfly pile driver. Now, the moment is great. Initial reactions, the moment is great. But if you're getting hit with a pile driver, you shouldn't be, within 3 seconds, lifting your head up and staring the man dead in the face, and then getting fired up to go and beat the living hell out of him in the closing stages of the match. For me, that actually shits on his finish, which I think is quite distasteful. I think if it had been any other move, I would have been fine with that if he'd done that. But I disagree with the notion that you've got to instantly no-sell someone's finish like that. And I keep the same energy. Before anyone comes at me saying, oh, he's not going to do it, I always do that shit. I don't like the fact that he instantly got straight back up. It was a great match anyway, but that little bit spoils it just a little bit. We do get 2 spin the blocks as well, which is his spinning lariat clothesline. Again, that's a great move. I like the fact that that's not physically going to force someone to quit anyway. But I like the way he leans into it by using the zip tape, so he tapes up Josh Alexander's hand so he can't defend himself. Again, Josh doesn't quit. He brings out the slapjack. The slapjack is 2 heavy balls in a sock, and he's beating the hell out of Alexander in the chest area, and then the ribs, obviously, Alexander, he's coughing up blood. internal injuries again, sells them really well. Josh Alexander, his first defeat in an I Quit match at the 4th attempt. He quits because Santana's going to do he's got him like hands behind his back. After he's relieved him of the zip tapes, he uncuffs him, he cuts him out. He grabs both hands behind his back and he goes to stomp his head into the ring steps. So he was physically going to stomp his head in when he's already got internal injuries. Yeah, curb stomp, exactly. And Alexander quits. And after this, obviously after the match, Alexander does say in words, he shakes their hand, as I've already shown. Not that one, this one. We're going to get to that one shortly. He does honour his word to Santana. He shakes his hand, says he's the new standard of TNA, the new standard bearer. But he then, on the spot, says he quits TNA as well. Josh Alexander's contract does expire February 15th. So this was his last ever TNA pay-per-view. He's been in the company for a very long time now. Wherever he goes, whatever he does, I wish him well. I've got no problem with what he does now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care where talent goes, as long as they're just used properly. I don't care. People say Chad Gable is Kurt Angle version 2. If you actually look at both men's careers, Kurt Angle version 2, even though there'll never be another Kurt Angle, the closest to him is going to be Alexander. Then it's Chad Gable. You've got to actually look at perspective. Do you think Joe Hendry will have a long title reign? I don't know, actually. Nick Nemeth's reign was 182 days. In terms of talent from the company themselves, originals, Alex Shelley was 218 days. Josh Alexander was 335. I'm expecting Kazarian and Santana to hold the title as well this year. I think he'll get over like 150. I think he'll get about 150 days minimum. Who do you think will use Josh Alexander the best? Since it's not TNA anymore, New Japan. New Japan by a mile. I'm extremely confident about that. After this match, we get the Hardys versus the Rascals. We also got a big announcement as well during this match. So the Hardys and the Rascals won. This is great for generational teams. If you've never seen the Rascals before, they have a good match here. We also get to see Fraxium. I haven't seen a lot of Fraxium, as I've been honest before. I've only seen them do a handful of matches. Fraxium appear at ringside to watch the World Tag matches, then announced for the TNA Live on the 23rd. The 23rd of January, TNA goes live for the first time in 8 years. Fraxium will defend their NXT tag titles against the Rascals anyway. So you're going to get that live match. We see the new version of the Twisted Fate tag combination tonight as well. We get the Twisted Fate into a neck breaker. It was really well done. But again, Hardys, lovely clean win. I was hoping that even though I was happy with the Hardys winning, I thought the Rascals were going to turn heel and win as a heel tag team, but I'll take that. Seeing Fraxium was okay. I think that's that elevation that's important. I think that's what matters most, is can you get the most out of them in that way? And I think they're still building them up to get another run, and then they're going to give them a long run. At the moment, the Hardys are doing fine as champion. Yeah, he'll get lost in the shuffle. Yeah, Alexander in AEW and WWE doesn't work. It works in TNA because TNA is the closest style to New Japan. as a whole. It has the American style, but it also has the work that New Japan puts in, and Josh Alexander is comfortable in that way. I think AEW and WWE don't offer him that, which is an issue. Oh, I think he'd be willing to travel. I think he'd be up for it. Either way, the guy's a machine. The guy's an absolute machine. Up next, the final women's match of the night. Unfortunately, yes, I do. Cora Funbags will do some appearances in TNA. Here's another thing about her as well, because I used to like Cora Jade. She's gone from so much authentic work to just being a plastic surgeon's wet dream. That needs to stop for her. The more and more she gets done, the more of her authentic look we lose. Because she was already decent beforehand. She's losing it a little bit, and it's becoming a problem. Look at that Kiana James as well, who I said when she went to Raw it was a bloody mistake during the draft. She gets injured, now she's got fun bags. Like, stop with it. Like, there's no need to constantly, when a talent gets injured, to constantly go and get the plastic surgery to improve your career. You can improve your career by actually doing work. Like, it's not hard. She's only in TNA to get beat by Masha Slamovich. Nobody will touch her, especially because, well, to be fair, when you look at who she's with anyway, she ain't going to get much opportunity. Masha Slamovich versus Rosemary, however, was brutal. I mean, first of all, seeing Janice for the first time in years, excellent. It's good to see a weapon like that, and for the first time in years, you actually get to see Janice getting used. Credit to Masha Slamovich for taking that in the back. I never thought you would see that happen, but it was mental. She's dating an NFL player now. We get the thumbtacks, we get chairs, we get staple gun in the armpit, we get tables, ladders. It is Clockwork Orange House of Fun. This is Raven's vision, and it is violent. Masha right now is TNA's best female talent, but TNA needs more good women's talent to match up. The only other good talent that they actually have that's a long-term contract is Dani Luna and Zaya Brookside. They need to really excuse me. They need to really reestablish their roster and escalate it to that extent that it actually does go and become something more. Because still to this day, the best use of women is in North America, and America especially, is still TNA. You're going to obviously get more money in WWE and AEW, and I agree with that. Although now again, Anthem have now increased their contracts. Anthem are now increasing contract pay for talent. As they are actually long-term contracts signed, they're getting more money out of this. Because obviously they're doing bigger shows. That's something Anthem promised. They're living up to that. I'll give them that. They've increased the production. They're now increasing talent economics. You need to back up by doing more recruitment on the roster. Like Tasha Steelz is someone I believe in really well. She's a great wrestling talent. They've got to do that massively. There isn't much there. Like Taylor Wilde, for example, bring her back. You know what I mean? Like there's some great talent out there you can get. It's not hard. Yeah. The funny thing is like I'm not saying like I said it the other night and I stand by it. TNA should have went after the likes of Camille and Megan Bain, regardless of their contract situation. Even if they got them for like a year, it would have helped because at least it's a star. It's another star to go along what you've got. That's the only reason why Tessa Blanchard's in for these appearances, because Tessa's a star. She's a rat bastard, but she's a star. They all did. They all did. Which doesn't really help them. I don't necessarily blame them, to be fair. Like, WWE and AEW picked up those talents because they can afford it. If I was TNA, I would be doing everything I can to try and get some of the talents from Stardom in. Not take them fully away from Stardom, but just like negotiate. Like TNA still got good partnerships with TNA still has good links to Mexico, like Triple A and all that. Triple A's got some good women's wrestlers. I would try and recruit a few of them as well, and just let them run with it. I don't want to see Britt Baker in TNA though. If she ends up leaving AEW, I don't want to see Britt Baker anywhere near TNA because she'll end up getting like a 400-day reign as champion, and I'll have to hope to God that someone breaks her, because that would be a disaster. This match was brutal, by the way. If you don't like brutal wrestling, like extreme stuff, don't watch the Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. But if you like violent wrestling, do watch that. The I Quit match is brutal as well. I will say that as closing statements to them. The main event, I think it pretty much we saw what was coming. First of all, I do have one objection with this main event before we get to it. I don't need the screen anymore, but I do have an objection to this main event. Before the main event starts, Director of Operations, Santino Marella, chooses to bring out the Busted Open crew to get their predictions for the main event, only to then result in Ryan Nemeth getting banned from ringside, and then he buys a ticket so he can watch from the crowd, and he gets involved anyway. I'm sorry, but no one gives a flying fuck what their predictions are. No one cares. I do not want to sit there for about 3-4 minutes before a main event that's actually fairly decent, because Nick Nemeth can get a great match out of anybody, and Joe Hendry gives as much effort as he can in this one. I'll grant him that. I don't want to sit there and listen to David LaGreca, who's got the voice. What's a nice way to say it without offending someone? What's a nice way to say it without offending someone? Oh, that's it. David LaGreca sounds like Jamie Carragher when he doesn't get his own way. Mark Henry is a legend. I don't care about his opinion about this main event. And I sure as hell 100% do not care why you're making a prediction right before a match starts. That's what the pre-show was for, you dumbasses. Oh, God help me. No. It's the equivalent of Orange Cassidy and Daniel Garcia holding titles for another year. She has so much drama. Like a wombat. Jesus Christ, that's some analogy. Britt Baker's. People say that CM Punk is a cancer to pro wrestling. That's like Britt Baker's a bigger cancer. Punk has his faults, 100%. Britt Baker's worse. Like I say, the main event eventually begins. 20 minutes, the crowd does go wild for Joe Hendry again. We believe chants kickstart across the arena. Signs everywhere. His family's front row. Ryan Nemeth, Nick Nemeth's brother, he appears with a ticket. He sits in the fifth row at the very start. And to an extent, this match is all about who can just quickly get to the finish until the match slows down. The crowd really amples on Nemeth here. He's working really well as a heel champion, even though he's more of a tweener. Like, he still works this match heel because Joe Hendry is an overwhelming babyface. Referee gets knocked down. Classic wrestling. Kazarian comes out to try and cash in his call. Actually, no, the referee doesn't even get bumped at first. Ironically, he just comes out, says, "Well, I've got this. I'm allowed to cash in." The referee's distraction kicks in. Then GBL shows up. I knew it was going to happen. GBL shows up. He hits Kazarian with a clothesline from hell. Ryan Nemeth comes out to ringside to get his hands on GBL. It backfires. He gets decked again. One punch to the face. He's knocked out. Nick Nemeth regains himself because he was down on the mat. Joe Hendry was also down. Nick Nemeth with the super kick hits the danger zone. As only WWE fans would know it in WWE as the zigzag. He hits the danger zone, gets a 2 count. He goes for a second one, counter, gets hit by the standing ovation, which is Joe Hendry's choke slam that he does. Again, 2 count, fired up. He then hits that incredible follow-away. Actually, there's another follow-away slam I forgot to mention earlier on, but I will thanks to Joe Hendry. During the Blanchard Jordan Grace match, Jordan Grace hits a standing follow-away slam from the top turnbuckle, and Tessa gets flung the whole length of the ring. It is mental. But yeah, so Joe Hendry hits his follow-away slam, dazes the champion, leans him back in, gets hit with another stand ovation. We get a 2 count, then Joe Hendry embraces with the crowd and he embraces with his family. New champion. And then obviously after that, he then calls out, makes references to Cena, all that stuff. Again, strength where it is, strength where it's not. The show establishes that Joe Hendry is still over with the TNA fans, but he is not going to get an overly long title run, but he will get a decent run. I still think Kazarian will beat him with his college shot. Moose will try option C unless someone beats him for the X Division title, then does it, or Santana challenges him and just beats him clean. You've also got Alex Hammerstone to return from injury as well, another big powerhouse. I could see him going for it as well as champion. Macklin could get back into the world title scene. If TNA are smart, they really start building now, and you actually visibly make sure your main event scene is ready to just go for the year. I could see Jeff Hardy having one world title match. He won't win the title again, but I can see him having a world title match. And that would do whoever's champion good anyway, because he would at least get the crowd to work. Good question. First of all, yeah, Ruby Hardy, she would tear it shreds. Who I think will take the belt off Moose? I wouldn't mind Santana just for him to do option C anyway, but I'm hoping at some point if he comes back, Chris Bay. I wouldn't mind Chris Bay doing it as well. There's options. Positives and negatives from Genesis. One major positive is this. Where is that? Santana's entrance in front of the crowd, but this is the actual crowd. Second positive, this man is still one of the best professional wrestlers in the world, and he deserves his flowers. and I hope he gets another chance to be champion. They finally pulled the trigger on this guy. From a creative sense, they had to do it. This is another positive because it establishes Santana as a main event. A big positive is Heather and Ash by Elegance not winning the tag titles. Thank God. Negatives. There was no surprise returns or debuts. Like from a top perspective, there was another reference to 23, which is obviously 23rd of January. TNA Live is potentially going to be a debut or a return. Another negative as well is, I'll be honest, another negative for me is we didn't necessarily need to see the Macklin Eric Young match versus the System. Even though it was a decent match, there was no need for it. I would have gave more time to other matches on the card, and I would have fielded it a little bit more differently. Another negative is Busted Open being there. Anyway, like, they should never have been there in the first place. And losing two of your top stars on the same show is another negative. I think TNA had the ability to still have Jordan Grace and Josh Alexander, but I would have included in their contracts they could still go anywhere they want to work, but they're still fundamentally signed to TNA. I think that's just something for me. It's not gatekeeping them, it's just allowing them to still work other promotions, other indie stuff, while still being TNA paid talent. Do you see Moose in AEW or WWE in the future? I think he'll go on the NXT a few times to battle Obafemi. I think you could see Moose versus Obafemi inside the Rumble match. But apart from that, I don't know. He's in TNA for another 3 years. His contract goes to 2028. I don't know if he'll end up in either of those. If he does, though, I mean, it's something different. The guy can work. He has very bizarre views, but he does work really well. And he does represent companies in a positive angle, so I will give him that, but I just have issues with him at a different level, and he does have domestic violence issues. Yeah. Well, as far as I'm aware, he has both issues or accusations. It's one of the two. I haven't really looked into it as much. It's not because I don't want to, but again, once I go looking for that, I'll probably find other things from other talents that would probably send me over the edge. Don't know if I can. I don't know if I want to go through all that. You know, it would just stink. Pardon the pun. With TNA Impact Live though, on Thursday, strength to strength, this is a chance for them to follow up big time, and I hope they do. I will be watching. I hope they follow up strongly on Thursday. We will see. We will find out. But does anyone, at 1 hour 39 minutes into the show, does anyone have any comments or questions that you want to ask me about? Drop them in the chat and I'll answer them. We'll probably go for about another 5 minutes or so. Also, in the meantime, I'll let you know what else we've got coming up this week. So we do have the Raw, Dynamite, TNA, SmackDown, and Collision reviews, 100%. NXT, we'll see. GCW, I don't know if I'm going to review it, but I'm going to watch it. Maybe I'll put some clips or something about it, like on the channel, like clipped reviews, like thoughts on it. More articles I'm going to write for the channel as well. Build up to the Royal Rumble Saturday's main event. I'm going to do all that stuff as well. Predictions, more gaming streams. Once my new, like I said, I've got my motherboard right there in the box. I'm just waiting for my new processor. And once that comes, I'll then be absolutely killing it. So all about improving the channel. The channel schedule is going to hip up. I wanted to do this before I brought Ailey back in the channel. Not that Ailey wasn't finished with the channel. What I meant was I wanted to get a new schedule put in so I can put the consistent content and keep us going in that way, where the audience are enjoying the content, and I bring Ailey back in and Ailey just kills it, as she does. So it's all about actually knowing how you treat the channel. Because like I said, the channel this year is I want to make it as involved and focused as possible. That's why I've got the new background, the new channel banners, everything. Like, I take it all seriously. I take it all genuinely seriously. That's why I like having people on. That's why I like inviting the likes of Matthew on, or Maria, or like Keen wants to be on for the Royal Rumble. Sound. Anyone's welcome on this channel. I give back what I get from you guys as well. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go looking for clout. I don't go looking for attentive views. I just go for, you guys give me the time of day, I give you guys the time of day. It's respect. When I'm dead and buried, do you think Obafemi has Bobby Lashley, Mark Henry potential? Obafemi has... Obafemi reminds me of Bobby Lashley when Bobby Lashley was in TNA, when he was the destroyer picking up title belts. He was brutalizing everybody. I think Obafemi is, in that way, I would use him like that. Obafemi should just pick up every single title he can find and just put them around his chest. That man is a bloody machine. Thanks, Catherine. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm not the best content creator in the world. I don't care. I'm not competing with anyone. I'm not trying to do better than anyone else. I raise my own game because of you guys. You know what I mean? Like, I bring in this energy every single time, and it's never gonna stop. That, for me, is more important than anything else. So all the shows I'm going to go to this year, they'll get reviewed. I'm going to do a lot of written stuff. I'm still figuring out how I'm going to do all that. I can write them up, but you know what I mean? I have got some interviews planned this year. Going to be very hard to get hold of them. There is one person in particular I really want to interview this year. Like, there's someone I really want to interview this year more than anything in the world. You guys already know exactly what I'm talking about. If I can get that, my year's made. No, I'm not. Yeah. I believe in authenticity, but I also believe in being original, and I also believe in having fun. That's why this channel, like, I could put in a Streamlabs link or a whatever it is, I can say, oh, put a donation in and send money. I don't do that. I would only do that if you guys suggested I should try it. I've never once done that. I can get monetized on Twitch if I wanted to. But I've never asked for it. You know what I mean? Like, I have more fun talking to you guys and talking pro wrestling, gaming, and all that stuff than I do going, oh, if I want to get you guys give me a real opinion, send me a $5. No, it's not. That's not how it is. I got to earn that shit. I got to get that respect in that way. I would only do it if you guys said, you know what, just go for it. You know? I think it's time for Perk Gable. Yeah. I like right now that he's basing his gimmick now off his whole faction now, ironically, after I called it. I called it well before it happened. I said you would get Team Angle. Again, they tried to get Kurt Angle to, I believe they tried to get Kurt Angle to come back in and be his manager, but they've done American-made is Team Angle. The only thing is, I like the Creed brothers. They just don't have the same. I don't think they have the same feel as Benjamin and Charlie Haas. But at least they actually fit the profile of they are genuine, like, amateur wrestlers now in the pro scene who are part of the faction. But I don't know. But we'll find out. I've spoken to him before, not in an interview session, just as a fan. If I interviewed him, you would actually see him chat. Mind you guys would probably struggle because it's two Scottish people's accents, but it's one strength to the other. Oh, it's hard. They were an amazing tag team. Like, they're an amazing tag team. One of my favorites. Yeah. Because they gave them to the Wyatt Six. Ruined them. Put them on SmackDown, though. You put them on SmackDown, you have to make them do a lot more wrestling. Like, they need to be doing 15, 20-minute TV matches every week. Not a lot of people are going to like that, but they should be doing that. They need to prove that they're the best all-round faction in that manner, because that's the only way they're going to be able to showcase the links. I don't think they ever will, though, but that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Dowie cracked on Barnett in the same move. I believe so. You know, I said the other night about Matt Menard and his commentary for Daniel Garcia is really annoying because he's so biased for him, and you just want to shut him up. Even though he's not Barnett, he's Barrett. I would have Wade Barrett just constantly, every single time they're on TV, just constantly praise Gable and American Made. Get them onto SmackDown and just absolutely ram it. Like, just absolutely ram the commentary down. Like, even if they do something stupid like a eye poke or a wrestling takedown, just say they're the best thing since sliced bread. With SmackDown being 3 hours, the Wyatt Six can do a mix of segments and matches. SmackDown is 3 hours until June. Once it hits June, SmackDown's gone back to 2 hours. Which, thank God. Barnett let the Creeds go over in Bloodsport, and his Bloodsport to go fed to the Wyatt Six. I know, I hate it. I hate that because it was great. They didn't know what they were doing. I feel bad for that faction because when you look at the faction in general, it's good talent. Like, Joe Gacy is a good psychological heel. Bo Dallas is a good worker. He just cannot live up to his brother's expectations, even though his brother's since long passed. He's being compared in the worst way, and it doesn't work. He doesn't have that creative mindset. He should be doing something else. Nikki Cross should just be a crazy heel. Like a crazy chick heel that she was before. That's what people liked her for. Before they made her a fucking superhero. Shaw. He was a creepy stalker that worked because he could put you to sleep with his chokehold, and then they repackaged him. And then Rowan is only there because of legacy, and it's not doing him any justice. Which is a shame, because I like him. Not as much as you think. Not as much as you think. Do you think Graves is working as... Yeah. I think you're going to see Corey Graves versus Pat McAfee at some point. And I'll say this now, Pat McAfee needs to be let go. He needs to be let go. And it's not, and I'm not saying it because I don't like him. I'm not saying it like that because that's cold. I'm saying it purely because more often than not, his schedule is going to constantly interfere with the NFL, so he has to go, or the American college football scene. I think in reality, he should stick to that, but appear in WWE for like at certain moments. But as a full-time announcer, he needs to go. The Graves thing will turn into a work. It will turn into a work. I did find it quite disheartening that Netflix said he wasn't famous enough, though. Or whomever said he wasn't famous, but linked it to Netflix. I mean, I find that to be a little bit disheartening. Are we ever going to see Carmella again? I think so. I believe there was talks about her creative plans in motion. I believe there's creative talks for her. The only thing is, though, is what do you do with her? I would rather see Alexa Bliss. Actually, I want to see Alexa Bliss. Yeah, he does. He ain't that fun. He's not as good as people make out. Quite frankly, he puts me to sleep. Like it's. I'm actually going to say this with confidence. Pat McAfee is just an over-energetic Excalibur. He is an over-energetic Excalibur. What should Triple H do with Aleister Black? Either have him feud for the US title or have him go either one of the mid-card titles, or I could see him going after Cody, which would be past creative redone. I'll put it this way, if W gets out of the Grand Suit, you'll see Graves again and nothing. I mean, to be fair, there's elements to that. Even though Corey Graves has nothing to do with the Janelle Grant suit. He's got nothing to do with that. But like he has physically nothing to do with this. He has got a lot of things behind the scenes though that's very questionable apparently. And I'm not talking healthy. Oh yeah, he did do that. His own and hers. Sad thing is, she got all the blame for it. She got all the blame for it. Which, sadly, is wrong. Shane, yeah. I was one way waiting for this question. Is the Shane McMahon Dark Cloud in AEW? Shane McMahon isn't going to AEW. He did more than that. Very polite. Very polite. I could see Shane McMahon, ironically, even though there's no elements to it. But as a business lead, he might actually help in a different way. I could see Shane McMahon helping out with TNA at some point. Just no other association anywhere else. Like, I could see that. The one thing I hope I never see, Ash by Elegance winning any form of title in TNA. Ladies and gentlemen, I am... You'd be surprised just how much ties he's got. That guy is brilliant. Guys, I have been your host, your enjoyment of the evening. I have had the absolute pleasure at nearly 2 hours reviewing this pay-per-view, talking to yourselves, great engagement. You guys are excellent as always, consistent all the way through. I will, of course, be back. 100% Pentagon Jr. 100%. I'm going to get out here. I'm going to review Raw tomorrow. 7:30 UK time, so 30 minutes after how I started tonight. Review that tomorrow. If you want to join me, I'll drop the links in the chat. In the meantime, try and enjoy it and make what you will. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you, Catherine. I absolutely appreciate it. I'll see you down the road, guys. You are all brilliant. Check out Graps TV. Check out the Mid Podcast. Check out that. I will find out and will let you know. I will let you know. To answer your question, Catherine, I'm sure. I think throughout the week, I'll let you know. Thanking you. I do my best. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next one. Check out Kofi on TV as well. Check out TH14 if you just like fun videos for stories and match quality. Thanks to the guy. I appreciate it. We are crossing the line out from Genesis. And now we're on the road to the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you very soon. And good night.